Hello, Om Shanti, everybody. Um, I'm Elisa, if you didn't know, and this is our very, very good brother Mahendra. I'm sure he doesn't need any introduction for many of you, but I get to ask all of the small little break in the ice questions because I don't know him as well as you do. Um, but today is a really, really pretty topic. And it is the alchemist at work. Spiritual alchemy is a mystical process that involves a simultaneous purification and illumination. It involves a healing and eventual transformation of all negative patterns. Excited? Excited? All right. So, are we ready? All right. So, icebreakers. Since I don't know much about you, how long have you been walking on this path?
Uh, Om Shanti and good evening, everyone. Thank you, Sisters Alyssa, and thanks to everyone here for giving me this opportunity also. I have been here walking this path, let me answer your question accordingly, for around 27 years now.
Almost as long as I was on this planet.
Your age.
All right. And what would you say was the first thing that attracted you to this? What brought you here?
Maybe I should go back a little to what brought me here, because for everything in anything that happens in your life, it's a process. Something would triggers something in you to seek, whether it's enlightenment or higher education, something would be there to want to inspire you. What happened? I can recall, well, it's somewhere in 1999 or thereabouts. If I can just give a little history, because I was searching, I would say most of my life I was searching. Although I came from a Hindu background, the more simple one, the Aryan background, this is the one where you don't do much devotion, just simple prayers. And in high school, I actually joined a Bible club. But now that you look back at it, when I took this knowledge, I said I was really searching. Most of my friends were Catholic, so I ended up going to a Catholic church, because we were all friends. And I had a lot of friends also. So we used to go and hang out a lot, the normal thing with teenagers. And then as you get older, you still continue like that. But one thing I can recall, which really caused a shift in me, I was at a wedding. I always remember that, even to this day. And we were a bunch of friends, probably about 20 something. So it's a whole big bunch. And although I was in that crowd, we were having fun. I wanted immediately to walk away. I just had this thought that I need to walk away. And funny thing is that when I think of this, I always remember Brahma Baba. Of course, he was in a spiritual gathering. I was in the other spiritual gathering, the other spirit, I should say, the other spirit. I think something shifted me at that time that this is not right what I'm doing. I need some form of enlightenment, because I would have already. So I went back to Mandir, to the temple, but somehow I don't think that there was that satisfaction. And it was a season of what we call no rat. I think you know what is no rat also. You know what's no rat. So I decided to keep fast from everything. So I became a vegetarian immediately, even before I took this knowledge. And I think that was where the shift actually started. And for moral reasons, also, I stopped eating meat because I can vividly remember one day I was passing by the market and I saw these animals and something I felt about them, the way they were like bending their heads down, like they know what is going to happen. And something touched me deeply then. I said, you know what? I am becoming a vegetarian now. And so that stopped, the drinking stopped. I, and then one of my brothers got in touch with this organization. So he started to send me material to read. And that was where the inspiration started. I thought that
So,
was something.
sorry. So he sent you information from the center,
He
or
was already a BK, but I didn't know what it was to.
because I was wondering how it fell into your lap.
Yeah, so he sent, well, both himself and his wife took the knowledge and they became full BKs. And so he felt that, well, when he called me and he said, I think you'll be interested in this because we were very close. And when I told him that, well, I'm already doing this, he said, okay, you're on your way. Just read these books that I'm sending you.
And it's a question. So what was your like faith or spirituality like before this? Like what did you I don't want to say like what you believed in, but what were your values like then? You understand my question?
What were my,
Like your values then. Like what caused you like to seek after like I know you said that you were at a wedding and you felt and you had this like realization, but what really pushed you to change something? What did you feel needed to change?
I am not sure. As I said, it was a series of events because I used to read a lot on philosophy, so Plato and Socrates and so on. Of course, and then of course the Sufis, but I didn't understand what they were saying. And if you could check now, I quote a lot on Rumi and Khalil Gibran. I love those Sufis and the philosophers, but I couldn't understand them. So I think it was that was pushing me to find something to understand what they were saying. But as I said, I started to read, and there was something that touched me at that point. I can't explain, and wanted me to seek more. What is this really? Because for me, and being a Hindu from a Hindu background, of course, I always thought that Krishna was God. Krishna was God. And so I wanted to know about, have a relationship now with God, not just that I'm here and he's so far away and, to build a closer relationship. And so when I was introduced to this and I said, this is it. This is getting to know myself and also getting to know God. I'm not sure if that would answer your question, but like I said, it was a series of events that actually brought me to that point.
And how was that like transition for you? Was it like a smooth one? Like, did it have any like battles, conflicts of switching from a little bit of Catholicism into the Brahma Kumaris? Like, well, did it have any battles, any internal
There
conflicts?
was none. I often heard, I don't know, this question might come up later. I know you would want to ask me about challenges. Surprisingly, I have heard so many things about challenges, but in spirituality, my path, I have found that whenever the challenges come up, the Supreme Soul would always open a new path for me. So there was never ever a challenge. If you want to put it, challenge, something was opened up for me to move on. Maybe you can ask me later about them. I will share on them.
Yeah.
Okay. One of
They're
them
asking
was
for examples.
yes, when I took knowledge, remember I was living with non-BKs. So food would have been a challenge. My mother was already a vegetarian. She lived abroad. Amazingly, she came back to live in Guyana. This was an amusing part. She actually came to get me married. It's not something I like to talk about. And I took her immediately to the center just after I took knowledge. She took the knowledge, she became a BK, pure food, Sattvic diet
And
in
no more,
place, no
no
more
more
challenge.
questions. They're trying to get you married.
No challenges with food.
Did she stop asking you to get married?
Well, you know, mothers are like, no, she didn't say anything because she took the knowledge immediately and she had a very good teacher who would have probably inspired her not to go to that level.
Who was your teacher at the start?
This third gene at that time.
Mr. G.
Mhm.
No, that would ring a bell. But yes, interesting. Um, how, my next question, how would you say, how do you balance, right? You do all of this stuff, you manage the mobile gas station and everything. So you have a full day. How do you manage with your faith, your practicing, your meditation, and also with your manage your mobile gas station?
I I can't really say what happens, but I should say first of all, I sleep 6 hours and I'm very comfortable with that. I don't ever go over that. It might be a very rare occasion. I haven't had that in years. So 18 hours, you have enough time to deal with your job. I remember my job also, you can be on call, even you're at home, somebody would call you for something because we're open for 17 hours from 6 to 10 in the night. So I have to be awake then, or I can expect a call anytime about some issue. I normally get up at 3:30 in the morning to do my Amrit Vela. I have no issues with that. I wake up naturally. Very rarely do I use. That's my backup, my alarm. It has worked out very well for me. I have no complaints at work. I take my break to 2 minutes. Nobody knows when you're doing your meditation. You don't have to announce that you're doing meditation. It's a natural process. Evening time, as soon as I get home, I have to allocate time. It's a very tight schedule now. Sister Canary can tell you about that. As soon as I get home, sometimes I can't even get to eat. We're in meetings. Zoom has been such a relief, such a wonder, such a help that time has been eliminated almost completely now in terms of time to get here and there. We use Zoom so often. I think as long as you make the commitment to a spiritual life, there is always help. That's why I'm saying I don't understand what about these challenges. I haven't seen them. They come, they would be coming, there would be issues. I would prefer to say issues. Well, yes, problems, situations would arise, but not as challenging as I would have seen others go through.
So would you say you just kind of accept and welcome them more
Sort of,
than
I say yes.
more than view them as you know that things will come your way, but instead of viewing it as a challenge, you just kind of accept
Yes.
and
Uh-huh.
oh,
Maybe
okay.
not immediately, I should say, because sometimes you reflect, or if you're not in the right stage or the right state, sometimes you can react. And this is what I'm working on a lot of being more proactive in preparing yourself for these challenges because you know they're going to come. You prepare for the challenges so when they come, you don't lose your stage. You don't lose your state of being, your mind, and allow it to be distracted. Because
How do you prepare?
how do I do that?
Yeah, how do you prepare for that? Like,
It's important that we start our day in meditation. It's a commitment. It's to keep, one of the things is that we have to keep God with us as our companion. We are living examples. We have to exemplify that also. You can't say we are practicing to be godly students and then as soon as you, this is where your tests actually start. When you sit in meditation, it's nice, it's very comfortable, there are no distractions. But the minute you step out, something will come to influence you. Something will come to affect you. Challenges or situation will come to disturb your state of mind. But when you're prepared mentally, of course, that these things are going to come to you. But at the back of your mind, you have to remind yourself today, and this is where the importance when you start in the early morning, you get up early in the morning and you choose what you want to become today. You know, it's not haphazard. You have to determine early, this is what I'm going to practice today. I normally choose what I'm going to practice. You keep that at the back of your mind, you practice it. When you come off your meditation, as you go to prepare your breakfast or whatever, it's there. And I'm always in a rush. You pause, always. I have to leave home at 5:30 because of the traffic situation. You're coming to work, you join your class. You try not to talk too much also because we are on a program right where we're supposed to, silence is so important. Silence of the mind also. So this is what is going to happen today. So I choose a virtue, a power from the day's class because I do read part of it before I actually listen to it. That's my preparation.
I think that helps. I watch you in the morning inside of your car, and I'm like, is he driving?
No, I'm not driving.
Where is he sitting at the gas station? Is he home? Did he leave it yet? No, because I know when I have to do the same thing in terms of sometimes on Thursday I drive from Sister Helia to work, and I'm like, I should have read the Morley before I embarked on this journey to work, because now I'm like trying to focus and listen as well. And then I get a question from, and I'm like, but I'm driving, why would you ask? No, but I see you there, but you seem to balance it really, really well.
It has to do with your preparation. You see, determination is one of the things I practice a lot to be determined to reach to a certain level. Any given day, you have to achieve this at the end of the day. It doesn't go that well all the time, but there's some amount of satisfaction that you made the effort. And if you take to spirituality, a spiritual life, there are certain practices that you have to put in place. It's not a 1 day a week, a 1 day a month. Like I said, haphazard. Consistency is the important thing. And that's where the balance will come in, because if you have that determination to follow the pattern all day long, you have to take breaks, because not listening to the class is one thing, but what happens after 7 o'clock to evening, you have to take the pauses during the day. This is what I'm practicing. And it's important to, you would have challenges during the day or situations where people will come with all sorts of problems. But when you take those pauses, you know that you're in the right stage. So that's how I get to balance myself.
Would you say like that's how you're able to, I guess, like show like soul consciousness in the workplace by these little pauses that you take during the day? Like, how does it show up in your workplace? How do you practice soul consciousness in your workplace? Like,
I think it's the way you react, because I have a manager, but nobody goes to the manager. They all come to me. Any least thing to do with the manager, I'm the admin person. Something to do with him, they always come through me. I said, I'm not the secretary. You have to talk to his secretary. But they have to talk to him directly, because he doesn't have a secretary. I'm not his secretary. They're comfortable because of my approach. I don't know if that's the soul conscious way you're seeing it, but that's the way they see it because of the way I would react.
Okay.
They know, they will, first thing they will say, are you busy? Can you handle this? And then I would say, okay. And then I'll tell, or I'll say, shelve it for now. I will talk to you later. Most times I do it. I don't know if that's,
No, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Mhm. I hear you.
And then the other thing, of course, is that I have heard comments, that if anybody says, then I hear how the staff will, they will defend you that if somebody says something negative about you,
Mhm.
and they will say, oh, not him. That's not him. That's somebody else you're talking about. So they observe you. They see what you do.
Mhm.
They see your attitude, your behavior, but so many different things.
So I feel like you're more of an actions guy than like words. So you lead by example then.
Well,
Because you say like they emulate like
yes, yes.
your actions.
Yeah, because one of the things, of course, in management, they will always teach you about being a good leader rather than a manager.
Mm.
So even when you come to this organization also, same principle.
Mhm.
You become the example so that others can follow. You teach by being the example.
Are you as enthusiastic in your workplace as you are here? Like with your like practicing meditation and knowledge and things like that. Do you carry it into your workplace as well?
I would want to say it's like being enforced. If
Mm.
you want to make it to that point, it's overall, it's your demeanor,
Mm.
your general demeanor. I would put it that way, your attitude. So you're hoping that one day they will see your whole outlook and want to know why you're always like this rather than go and tell them, remember God, think about God.
Mm.
Let them see the way you operate, let them see the way you behave, your attitude, how you approach things. So I won't think it's being enforced if in that way, but if I have little talks with them, I will teach them more on morals and virtues
Mm.
along that line rather than tell them directly, that this is a supreme soul and he's watching you and you shouldn't be doing this, you know,
All
that
right.
level.
Mhm. Okay. So I wanted to pick your brain a little bit more. That was a nice little teaser. Um, but I was reading a book and it had said that God has such attraction that you can cling to him completely. However, until the rest of your negativity is removed, this attraction cannot be experienced fully. So I know you said at the beginning, like it was a journey to um this journey into this what do you call it? I'm blanking on the word. Into this lifestyle, into this practice. And I was kind of like thinking like what was that like catalyst like for you? Like what was that? It was there like a defining moment of changing. Like you said, there were things that you did before. Was there like a defining moment of changing or transforming for you?
I don't think there was a defining a particular moment. It's more of a process.
Mhm.
I would rather say it's more of a process because it took a period of time. But when I actually came and took the knowledge, I was like more prepared already. So when I was doing the course and then I started the actual class,
Mhm.
uh, I was already prepared for what is coming. So it's not like I won't say there was a defining moment,
Mhm.
but the preparation was over a period of time. But what I'm really, if you get back to the rust removing what you were reading there
Yeah.
and clinging, in my early days, I spent a lot of time in meditation rather than knowledge. Lots of time, like 6 hours, I would sit and I just want to have an experience. That started the whole, like the background to develop spiritually.
Mhm.
There was something happening which I can't say, but That was what really helped me. And I had help along the way because there was a group of us who used to spend time. We were young BKs at that time, of course, just a year, 6 months, a year in knowledge. And we used to spend a lot of time sitting in meditation rather than churning knowledge.
Mhm.
See if we can connect to the Supreme Soul. But then that was a phase, and then you start to imbibe the knowledge, start to practice the knowledge. And there were defining moments, of course, tiny ones, when you would get lost in love, I would say. I remember once I was walking by Stabrook Market. I always remember that moment too. I was like probably 4 years in Ghana. And you know, Stabrook Market, the confusion there, big crowds and so on. And I was so lost at that moment. And I said, this is it. Those, yeah, they're tiny moments, like aha moments then.
Mhm.
And they started to build up. And that was one of the moments when I felt completely detached. And, like I said, an aha moment. So this is what it feels to be detached. You were walking, you're in a crowd, but you're not connected to what was going on around you.
Mhm.
But later on, of course, you would slip again and so on. And you have to remove that rust as it keeps accumulating. But of recent, of course, I found the rust has been removing very quickly now. So there's more clinging now.
And would you say like that's from the efforts that you've been making?
Uh-huh.
And if you could get a little bit more into what kind of efforts have you been making, like these days, like how has your meditation evolved? How for you from then to now? Where are you now in terms of your efforts?
There would be a huge change in the sense that at that time you were doing meditation, but how much did we understanding God, the Supreme Soul?
Mhm.
Now it's a different level. Like now you can actually build a relationship. You can understand each relationship of father, teacher, Sadguru, beloved, companion, friend.
Mhm.
It's easy now to switch into those relationships at any given time. Earlier, that was not so. It was more like the soul and the Supreme Soul. So now it's more like a mature stage that you understand these relationships more.
I've been thinking about it and I was thinking, well, based on what you said, like you mature, you grow your knowledge, you deepen your knowledge. And I find the deeper that you go in knowledge, the more aha self-realization moments you have. I find that's where you kind of open and you get a little deeper with your relationship with God, with the Supreme Soul.
Mhm.
So when I was seeing like this illumination and purification and how simultaneously they
Right.
work together, right? The more you learn about yourself, the more you dive deeper into, I guess, learning about the soul, the Supreme Soul. I find like your relationship and your ability to allow this purification, allow the rust to go, you know, as they say, light attracts light. So the lighter you become, the closer that you get to this feeling or this experience. Um, and I was kind of like wondering how, as a person who's not in this knowledge, or a person who, mm, what can I say? A person who maybe doesn't believe in God, how could you reach them? How maybe you can like be a spark or be like a catalyst for change for them. Maybe produce maybe an aha moment for them. Yeah. Go for it.
I would have had cases like this, and
Mhm.
but it's more of words because you would try to explain.
Mhm.
I had a case like this once. The guy told me that he's an atheist. There's no God. And when I was explaining about the soul is energy and comes into the body and so on. So, but he just believed in one life. So I'm not sure how I can answer that question. And I try to convince him no, and I explain about reincarnation. But if remember, he's an atheist.
Mhm.
How do you explain reincarnation to him? Because I was like explaining that why, why somebody's taking birth, why they have to suffer so much. I'm trying to bring in because of past karmic accounts. He would not take that. He says it's one life you have to live. How you live, that's it. You're just born like that, and you have to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
How do I how do I convince him now? And eventually I saw I was not heading anywhere, so I just went into silence
Mhm.
because of my energy. I can't
Yeah.
convince him. Um, the other way, of course, is to use your life as an example, I think, because I would say that I would have had a lot of negative reactions when I took to knowledge, of course, from close family members, because they're some of them are not fully atheists, but they don't believe in God as such.
Mhm.
And they will tell you that you're wasting your life in that way. So I had to become an example. There is something I can't share here. It's more personal
Okay.
because there's someone involved who doesn't believe in God, but he had to eventually use me because he saw the qualities of being a BK,
Mhm.
and he recognized that. So I would think rather than trying to explain, you should be an example because it's very hard to convince someone if they're an atheist or don't believe in God to actually take this knowledge. But when they see your qualities and you exemplify those qualities, there may be a little bit of convincing, or you may be able to convince them.
I think it was just the guy tree who was talking about it. It's always easy to speak about the first couple of topics, who you are, and then when you reach to the topic on God,
Mm.
now everybody's like, dude, yeah, So you're always like, how do I best address like this topic? It's necessary, and I think even for BKs and things like that, it's nice to stay open to hear their paths, their journeys, because it don't matter what path you're on, there's something that some catalyst, something everybody wants to, there's an innate want to feel whole, so no matter like the journey that you're on, there's this want to feel whole, so how it looks for another person may be totally different from yours. So I think it's important to stay open
Well,
to
many
yeah.
times, when you would have had to do, or we would have gone to programs and from different organizations. And so when they speak about something, you just carry on with the same topic. Or if, like you said, you open to them, they're going to speak about something. So in that way, you take up their topic, see how you can bring across your views to them. Well, Baba's views, God's views,
Mhm.
not his views, his knowledge. But they're creating the opening, and you use the opening, their opening, to introduce God to them. I would have done that several times. But with atheists, as I said, that's a whole different scenario.
Yeah. Okay. All right. A question. Shanti, that moment of recognition of detachment, was it disoriented? What did you feel? And how did you stabilize in that feeling for it to become the norm? Do you like me to read it again? The question.
I guess that feeling was, most times in when you take actually any religion, I guess, but with spirituality, these aha moments will come out of, suddenly. I can't say what I was thinking at that moment, but I think I didn't want to be disturbed with what was going on around me. And suddenly I just felt that moment. Maybe it was a touching from up there. I, yes, I did hold that for quite a while because I don't set out like to have these moments. Let me say that. They just happen. I don't set out to have moments. And so when it came, I won't say it's a surprise, but these moments will come because of the effort you put in. So you're not surprised actually. You will just say, okay, this is for what I was doing, and you hold on to it, you keep it with you. And it will sustain you for some while, but you have to move on from then. I don't know if that answers your question.
The question came from Liz. Liz, did he answer your question?
I know this.
Does anybody?
Shanti, yeah, you answered it fundamentally. But the other part of the question, or the wider question really, is having had that experience and a number of disjointed ones like that, you are obviously now in a state where it is more like your norm. So my question really is, how did you stabilize those events, whatever emotion or feeling they had? Because I imagine they were all a little bit different. How did you stabilize that into your reality now? So yeah, that's the question. And I'll come back about the ATS thing, but I'd like to hear your answer to that.
I think over a period of time, they will start to fit in, because remember that time when you have just taken the knowledge, there won't be that deep understanding. But as you get mature, it starts to fit in place, and then you would have done more reading. You build a closer relationship. So when they come now, they don't come as a surprise anymore, or like aha moments. It's just a nice feeling you will get, if I can put it that way. But you understand it now. This is the effort that I would have put in, and now I'm having the result of that effort.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And I think it's really important to highlight what you said, which is that it really is, you do need the knowledge. So when you have the experience, you can reference it into the framework. So yeah, the knowledge is really I think on point. So thank you for that. I'll let somebody else ask, and then I'll come back.
Good evening. My name is Davy. Brahma Kumaris for me is pretty new. Last week I was here for the first time, and I was very positively surprised by the ever-smiling ladies, thanks to one that I know already a year and interviewing tonight. But I would ask, how would you explain the soul consciousness to somebody that is new to Brahma Kumaris?
That might take a little while, because huh? Because one of the things you have to do with soul consciousness, you have to, first of all, define what is soul, what is body, before you actually get to the deeper level of soul consciousness, how the body operates. So you'll have to say that, well, define, this is the body, this is the soul. The soul is what brings life into the body. The soul is what gives life to the body. Then you have to say how the soul operates into the body. How it operates the body, sorry. Because the soul is what gives life to the body. Because without the body, without the soul, sorry, the body cannot function. The body is dead, right? So it does take a little while, you know. So to explain soul consciousness, it's not like 5 minutes or so. It takes a little while. But that's the first step, that you need to understand that I am a soul and this is my body. And then differentiate between the body and the soul. Then you will understand what is soul consciousness, that the soul operates the body. The soul that is the one that moves the body, the one that directs the body. The soul is what gives life to the body. Is that okay? Mhm. I know.
So there are different words. There's consciousness, there's awareness, right? So we are aware that it is evening. We're aware that I'm in a female body. I'm aware that you are in a, that's okay, that's okay. I'm aware that you are in a center, in a different setting. There's an awareness. So sometimes I'm doing my work, all the things I'm aware. There is a subconscious awareness that is always happening. Now, naturally, in this era, we're naturally aware of the different roles that we are playing and different things related to this costume, right? Whether different masks that we wear, different hats that we wear, different roles that we play. In spiritual term, we call it as body conscious. I am an Indian, I am a Guyanese, I am a male, I'm an officer, I'm a manager, I'm a son, and there are different experiences involved in those awareness. Oh, I'm a mom. You have a different experience that you have. And you say soul conscious, as he was describing the difference between the one playing the role. The best example, which for my understanding was, an actor plays various roles, whether, tell me some famous hero, heroine.
Clark Kent, Superman.
So, okay,
Yeah, no,
he played the role of Superman, right? He's not Superman, but he's aware, hey, I'm the one playing the role of Superman. But his qualities are different from Superman's qualities, right? So soul conscious is the awareness of who you truly are. You're just conscious that you're conscious. You're a conscious being. And that conscious being, the natural nature is peace. The natural nature of that is love, purity, everything positive. So from that awareness, you play various roles. You're aware, you're conscious that you're beautiful energy with these virtues, and irrespective of which costume you wear, irrespective of which hat you wear, you will play the best. You don't have to work hard to be a better dad, work hard to be a better manager. You are empowering who you are. So the natural consciousness, which is soul conscious, will have zero vice, zero need, because you are a full being.
Any other questions? I think Christine says it's a process of becoming and discovering my authentic self. All right. So I was thinking, you have been doing meditation for a long time. I feel like I just came into this practice, so it's like enthusiastic for me, like, ooh, I'm learning, growing, whichever. But for you, you've been doing it a long time. And I kind of like wondered, how do you keep the enthusiasm going? What helps you to keep the enthusiasm, and also how can you help to keep the enthusiasm in your fellow, because I feel like if you when you go to a church, or you go anywhere, like people are just there, like Catholic, I go sit in the church, I go there. It's like routine now. So it's almost like you stop growing. You just kind of like, oh, I take a pause here. I'm good where I'm at. This is what I know. I'm comfortable, but how do you stop that from happening? Like I say, like I'm enthusiastic. I want to grow, 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 grow. But for you, you've 27 years. How do you stay enthusiastic, and how can you keep others enthusiastic?
when we took knowledge, one of the things I do is I read a lot. So with reading, there are more discoveries, you grow with reading. So it's like stepping stages all the time. And with the same knowledge, if you practice I'm a soul when you just started this knowledge, and to this point when you're practicing the same I'm a soul, there's a different experience. Effort has to be put in, a lot of effort. When I started, we didn't have access to so much the technology. So materials were not so much available. We had a lot of books. So voracious reader. All day long I can read. And every time you read one book, you go back to read it again. Remember, this knowledge is something new you would have read and didn't understand, like the Bible, for example, or the Gita, you would not understand. You will just, as you say, it's just a process you're going through. But with this, there is like an experience, but you want to move from that point all the time. So you put in more effort again, deepen your meditation. This is the process I'm using. Now, the classes are there all the time. So you have availability of everything online. In our days, you had to, well, really go and search to take both. So I think at that time we were putting more effort in. And one of the things, of course, is the result of spending a lot of time in meditation. You start with one level and you keep climbing. And then that experience is not enough. You want to go to a deeper level. Remember, you're dealing here now with the Supreme Soul. This is not enough. This is my personal opinion, my personal experience. I don't know how others do it. And so I want to feel him more closer and closer and closer. So that is what gives me the urge to continue. The other thing is that you want to eliminate your mistakes. If you're making mistakes, if you're falling short, you try to eliminate it. So that's what builds your enthusiasm, not to make mistake and to have a deeper experience at the same time. There is commitment also. This is what I want. This is what I want to achieve at the end of this part. I must do this amount of meditation. I must have this level of awareness that in a second I can remember him. That's what I'm working on now, that in any situation. So I think the other thing is that the happiness you also get. Besides, we call it super sensuous joy, not aha moments. I had one today right in the center. I felt so good about it. That you feel the purpose of life now that you're achieving. The vision you had, the purpose. So that keeps pushing you now to move more. That is what is sustaining you. You're following?
Yes, but I also like you said, like it pushes, it feels good to achieve. But again, this is the guy who was talking about it. Does this constant need to better yourself, limit your happiness in the moment? Like, are you still able to take that joy, to hold that joy in that moment of where you are, rather than immediately, wanting to achieve more and more? Do you have happiness along the way with you as you continue to grow?
Definitely. Because if you don't retain that happiness, it will become like a study then without that. Because remember, all of what we're doing here also is to experience that happiness, that supersensuous joy, that peace. So it's not like a study as such alone. It's more like so many other things. And if you focus on the study alone and the achievements, what happens with your happiness? So you have to enjoy the study, enjoy the happiness, enjoy the achievement, and sustain it at the same time. That you don't lose it then.
You were talking a bit about mistakes.
Mm.
You know, like you wanted to eliminate those mistakes. But I feel like when you grow, you learn, you experience things, those mistakes they will happen. And I think like mistakes, I don't really like to call them mistakes because it's just part of the learning process. You know, if you didn't make these things, if you didn't feel this way, like for example, you have a reaction and you get angry, you know, like if you didn't feel that anger, then would you have been able to question or learn something about yourself? Like you could say, okay, in my anger, like why did I get angry? You know, was it something that I did somebody probe a deep belief for me? Like, and it kind of like provides clarity, you know. So I feel like these mistakes provide clarity for, you know, and helps you to grow and gives you a little bit more aha, so this was why I was angry, this was why I was sad and things like that. So I was just wondering about those um just a little thing about, you know, about eliminating your mistakes.
No, I fully agree with you with that because Sunday, of course, in the class, anger was spoken of, and it's one of the second biggest vice. And so, you know, I do the turning class. So I went in to check my own self about anger. Why do I won't say that it's like the blow up anger with the shouting and getting red and that anger. So I wanted to see what were the subtle causes of anger, which I shared with the class. And then I discovered jealousy, resentment, expectation, surprisingly, brings anger. It might not become full blown, but irritation. You can get irritated by being jealous or because of expectation. So it's a subtle aspect. And I'm happy that you asked that question, and I'm thinking along the same lines. If these things didn't happen, because I did had an instance Sunday when I got irritated with someone, I was talking to them. They were doing something wrong and they were turning their face away. And I said, I'm speaking to you. You know, this is how we get irritated, that you're addressing a wrong and the person just ignores you. So then I went and checked myself why I was getting irritated. So this is when all these things came up, the irritation, the resentment, the jealousy, the expectation. So it's at a subtle level now. It's not full blown anger, but at a subtle level. Like all the other vices, ego, for example, ego might not be the full blown ego, but not being acknowledged, even on the spiritual path for the work that you're doing, you know, we get upset about that. So not only do we get upset and the ego comes up. So two of the vices are there. Immediately you can recognize them.
I had another question. I'm trying to think of how am I going to put it over. I think it just left me. Maybe it'll come back. But yes, I think is it yeah, go for it.
So maybe you covered in some of the things that you shared, but was curious to understand or to know what was that in the beginning. What was that? Did you mention that specific? I know you mentioned the lifestyle changed, but what was that recognition that happened? And secondly, in your life, what are some of the principles that you hold on to in your life, like no matter what? You know, it may be that I will not hurt anyone, or you know, it could. Everybody has their own core values. That some core principles that you hold on to on this journey of your life. And lastly, what would be the message that if anybody new who's like just listening, what is this? um, what is it that you would want to share to the, whether it's Gen Z or any generation, any new? What's your message? 3 things.
I'm getting old, I can't remember, but the core values, the core values, of course, most of it would be the morals. Well, morals have gone astray now. We don't have much morals now. But of course, when you come here, one of the things why, in my case, why I hold on to core values is because of how I'm affected. Like, again, mistakes, right? Like if you get upset, then how much it disturbs you, how much it affects you, and it takes such a long time. It might be a tiny mistake, but it takes such a long time to correct yourself, to go back into your right state. Why did I make this mistake to cause me to get upset, to lose so much energy in that direction? So those are the main things that form the core values, not to get upset with anyone, not to get angry with anyone, see everyone as my brother souls. They're all children of God. That's one of my core principles, regardless of ethnicity, gender, and those are big issues right now. So I work very hard to hold those values, um, not to shift from them. That also helps me to be with my soul conscious vision. Equality, treat everyone equal. That's one of my core values, regardless of your position in society, whether ordinary or holding a high seat. Treat everyone equally. Again, regardless. I think those are my core principles. And the basic thing is that, like, if all of us are children of God, we're born under different circumstances, under so many things that are different. Because for me now, I understand what is karma. So seeing karmic accounts, why do I question that? Why do I question their lifestyle? Just accept. So acceptance is one of my other core value, that whatever is happening, if I can correct it, that's okay. If I can't, well, just leave it. You can give advice, but you don't try to push.
Force it.
You don't force it. The message
A message for the newbies.
for the newbies. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Why should I even be?
Uh-huh.
How
One of the things is happiness. Throughout my entire spiritual path, I have always experienced happiness. So that's one of the things I would share. You have to make choices now. This is what you can choose to do. This is the result. If you want to enjoy this, this is what you have to do. You have to, I wouldn't say give up, but you have to, like ease off this, and you will experience this. Because one of the things is that I don't undergo, a lot of people talk about stress, and so much about stress, and in workplace, even among us here, we talk about stress. It's too much. And stress does affect you. I'm not saying that stress doesn't affect me in that way, but I've managed to work well with it. So I would like put it out to them. This is what you get from doing this. If you want to make choices, this is what you will get. This is the result of your choices. If you want to stay that way, this will be your choice. This will be the result of what you're doing. To enjoy a very good relationship, also, you need to understand yourself. You need to understand the Supreme Soul as your father. Understand that this is a family, how we have to live together in this world in harmony. I don't know how much that helps with your question, but this is how I normally use it. But for me, the main thing is choices. You're put to make choices in your life. As a result of these choices, this will be the result. It's up to you.
I think for me, coming in as a newbie, here provided me with a lot of tools. I think the two big lessons coming in as a noob that helped me is who I am, who am I, and also um, the the core values, the powers to pack up, the powers to tolerate. I think those were very useful. And when you give like examples of these, like you can apply it to your life. And I think as a noob, you know, I think learning who am I is a lot more, I guess, tangible, is a lot more applicable. You start off as it's an easier process to pill to swallow, you know, before you get into the
Yeah.
cycle and the supreme soul and and these things. So I think as BKs, uh I think it's important those lessons ring home first, who am I, and tools, because people need resources, people need these tools, and I thought those powers were quite helpful and interested in my journey going through them. um yeah, so
The other thing, of course, is the values that we taught here also. To use those values, they would help a lot too. The values that we teach, whether it's in the positive thinking, the living values, stress-free living, but the understanding of your role that you play. What is my role really? As Sister Kennedy was explaining, how much am I attached to my role? How much can I let go of that role? Because that role also can bring stress. And this is what you need to move away from, to enjoy the happiness and the joys of the world without having an attachment to it, having attachment to your role, to material positions, you know. That's also where your core values come, because if you're material conscious, your core values can go out. You can throw them out because you want to acquire. And what do you want to acquire? Material things, which can go anytime also. And the acquirement, trying to acquire and to own so many things can bring on the stress, and you lose all the values there. So that's a balance also, because you need material things to sustain your life, but how do you acquire them? How much do you really need? And how much do you go out to acquire them? Is it really worth it? Because I know there was one, BK was telling me one time, if he didn't take this knowledge, he would have been pulling out the hair of his head. But he has spiritual knowledge, and that has taught him how to live his life in a balanced state, both to satisfy his family, to satisfy his personal life, and others.
and no questions on Zoom, but anybody has any questions for Brother Mahendra, or anybody really in the crowd? Yeah. All right. So I think we will wrap up our little discussion.
No, there's
I have a little thing that Brother Mahendra will read that I think kind of brings everything together. Just a little. Aye. Want me to read it? Okay. So the question is, do you still have adverse reactions when you encounter negativity in yourself, albeit subtle? So even though it's subtle, do you still have do you encounter negativities within, even if it's subtle?
Yes, I would say one of them is attachment. I still have attachment. It's an area that I have been working a lot on. You might have crossed, well, I should say me. I would have crossed the more gross forms, but now I'm finding the subtle forms are coming up. We would have been warned in spirituality, I mean, personally, from reading and studying and so on about the subtle attachments, subtle ego also. Those two remain until the end. I had a case, still have a case recently with subtle attachment, which I'm trying to work on how best I can. And so one of the things is that we don't know when we are slipping. We feel that we are spiritual, fully spiritual,
So we slip.
and we don't take note of these things. And when it is far gone, this is my case, then I realized that I had a very, now that it has gone full blown, subtle attachment to this whole situation. Now I have to work to release it. But what it has taught me, because I was in the process of getting rid of attachment, and it's never over. Excuse me. It takes quite a while. So you may think that you are perfect. You're not. It does have adverse effect because I still think about it, meaning that I still have think about it. It's still having an adverse effect on me. I have worked on it. I've worked on other forms of attachment and ego, which I am working on also. Well, I should say that I'm getting there, but I do get affected at the subtle level, not at the gross level, but definitely the subtle can transform back to the gross level. So you have to be very careful and recognize it.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much for that very honest answer and the clarity of it too. Thanks, Om Shanti.
Thank you for your questions. All right. I think we will wrap it up. Thank you, Brother Mahendra, for sharing. I appreciate learning so much about you. All right, go ahead.
So this is to sum up this evening, and this was given to me by Sister Alyssa because she feels it's it's about illumination. And by the way, the alchemist is the supreme soul who works on us to bring out. Alchemy is the process of taking out all the alloy that's in the soul, to remove the alloy. In the physical sense, the alchemist takes out all the impurities from the metal and restore it to its original quality. So God is called the alchemist here because he removes the alloy of negativity and devices from us and restore the soul to its original state. So that's why that topic was chosen today, and we get purified and at the same time illuminated. Where do I begin? Start with a vision of your pure essence. What do you see? I see strong diamond light, pointed to perfection. I see the many faces of my divine nature, rainbow qualities reflecting the light. I sense the color of my feelings, the softness of abundant energy rippling out from my core. What do you feel? I feel an immense love, an overwhelming gratitude to the beautiful one. You have cast your light through my dark shadows, allowing me to see that I am made in your image, a being of rare and distinct beauty. You smile. Now, what do you see? I see myself as a fully winged tiger butterfly, unbound and free. And that is dedicated to all of you here too. Not a commentary. Just no commentary. No commentary. Okay. So we'll now close with meditation.
this night. Holding still, I feel the call. The one who knows us all. Check your heart through every day. Did you lift or drift away? Did your words bring peace or pain? Did your thoughts bring loss or gain? Now's the time to choose what's true. Every act begins in you. Let me walk the silent way, shining through the close of day. We are with the light, held in truth and love and right. Let me live with peace inside. No more sorrow, no more pride. We are with the light, not alone in darkest night. Holding still, I feel the call. One who knows us all. No more chains of I and mine. We are souls beyond the line. From the noise of loss and fear to the place where love is clear. We are with the light. We are with the light.
Om Shanti and good evening, everyone.
Om Shanti and good night, good evening.
Good evening, everyone who come here in person and joining us from Zoom. And also those who are the interviewer, interviewee, both of you, thank you for taking us on this journey. And wanted to make an announcement to everyone that June 21st, we will have a program at the World Trade Center, not too far, right across the street. And with Sister Jayanti, who is the additional administrative head of the organization. And we will be celebrating 50 years of the presence of the organization here. It's from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. You'll find the flyer on our Facebook, and it's also posted on our WhatsApp group. You're welcome to share it, but RSVP because the space is limited. And it will be, the conversation is going to be on one light, one destiny, and illuminating prosperity. So all of you are invited. And thank you once again. And good night, everyone. Om Shanti.
Shanti, good night.